But now we're going to go through the process of making a plasma rope up. First of all, we're going to set this hook and thimble up, and then we'll be splicing the rope through the thimble. We need to use a thimble because that protects the rope when it's around the hook. As it's around there, it's pressing on metal rather than just on this plasma rope. Just pop that one in there. And then we're ready to splice the rope. This plasma rope, you can obviously buy the rope itself, any length you want, and we can make it up for you. And you can buy it just pre-spliced, ready to fit on your car, or you can do it this way and buy the lengths, buy the bits, and splice it yourself, as I'm going to show you. The main thing to do, first of all, is have some insulation tape on the end, and it's got to be as tight as possible. This one feels a little bit slack, but I'm going to try it first of all to see if it will go up through. It's going to go up through fine, so that's not a problem now. So we put it up through there, like so, and then down through the next one. And what we need to do, you can see this, you need to double it up by about sort of three feet. That's plenty ample enough. And then pull it's nice and tight into the thimble. Okay, what you need now is just a piece of bar. It can be a punch, but the important thing is tape it off at the end so it doesn't catch on the rope as it's going splicing in and out. So just a piece of bar or punch, and we have to just attach it to the end of the plasma with some insulation tape. Okay, the next stage, I'm going to feed this through the centre of the rope. I spread this open, feed it right through the centre, out the other side, and I shall be doing that back again, back once more, 4 times in total, and then we go on to the next stage. So I'll do that now.
Is there a trick to getting it bunched up?
Just have to hold the rope with your finger and thumb and push with the other hand, and that just loosens up all the strands, and we just gently ease it through. Here's the importance of it tapered off, so it just pushes its way through. So as you can see, I've come through the centre of the plasma, right it through the other side, got it tight, got the actual cross in line with the centre of the thimble, and now what I'll be doing is getting the end again, and just by the width of the plasma, popping it through the centre once again. Through the other side. Again, making sure it's nice and tight, it's in line with the centre. Push it down again, get it loose.
Do you pass it through 4 times or through and back 4 times?
Okay, it just needs to be passed through 4 times in total. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the next step, I've got to feed my punch through, and I'm going to run along the complete centre of the whole strand until all of this is gone inside, and then I'll be coming out again. So with that, again, we just bunch it all up, pass it through the middle, And with it all bunched up, it's almost like a tube in the middle that you just gently feed the punch up through. And you have to hold the punch, bunch the plasma up, and then grab the other end of the punch with your thumb and feed this up through. Right, so once the insulation tape's gone in, it becomes a lot easier. So feed it up and then feed it up there. Up the punch. When we get to about this point, we look for our punch to come out through our plasma. And pulling the rope out and put it up as far as you can, and then we can remove our punch. The next stage is to open all this up, and there's 12 strands with plasma, and we get 12 strands all out, and we need to be cutting so we have a taper, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'll open it up. You need to go back about a foot because I like to allow about an inch per strand. So put your finger up through the middle and just basically open all these up. Just untwining them. So now, what we do, we grab the first strand. Doesn't matter which one, just grab any strand. Sharp Stanley knife. And we just cut the strand off like so. That's the first one. Then we grab another one and just go up about an inch. Cut that one off. Next one, another inch. And so on until we've done all 12. As I showed you earlier, this is all bunched up as far as it will go, because our next stage is to put this on the floor and put our boot on that one. You start at the base and just bring your hand up, pull it as tight as possible, and you'll see there, as I'm pulling, this is feeding back in. And then we just keep running the hands up, pulling as tight as possible, just to get that nice and smooth and tapered in. And there we have our spliced rope. Because this is going on an inline winch, we need to have a way of locating it onto the drum. So we find the other end somewhere. Here it is. And get rid of the insulation tape. And we have to put a way of securing this to the drum. Now on the warns, because this is going on a warn, there's a hole in the side of the drum for a screw to go in. So what we do, we put that one over there. And I'm going to crimp that in the vise. I will drill a hole in it, allowing this screw to go through the hole, and then it will locate onto the drum. So first of all, we'll crimp this in. So once I've crimped, just get my burner again, just to tidy up this end. It just melts and fuses the strands together. And now we drill a hole through the centre of the tag. Once we're into the plasma, we have to be very careful because it will pick the plasma up and try and drag it through the tag. So just nice and gently, just getting rid of swarf as we go. There's no problem that we've drilled through the plasma, making it weaker, I think, because all this does is locate it onto the drum. There's no strength. Once the plasma has wrapped itself around the drum a few times, that's what gives it its strength, is gripping the drum. Now we come to put the rope onto the winch, and first of all, we thread it through this device here, which is a rope retainer, and that's to stop pulling the rope right off the end of the drum. This will stop it doing it, and I'll show you how to do that as we go, and how it works. So rope retainer on, through the fair lead first, and then underneath the drum. It has to go underneath the drum. Very often I've seen winches fitted with the cable going above, and then it's going the wrong way, and people wonder why on their hand control, when they try to go in, the winch goes out, and when they try to go out, the winch goes in. It's because the rope is on the drum the wrong way around. So underneath, and then we do about 3 loops around the drum. Bring our retainer in. Okay, we're putting that rope retainer under those 3 loops, and then feeding the end of the rope back through on the second loop of that retainer. As you see, if you try to pull that, it won't come out, because it's trying to pull that piece there through there and out. So that is stopping it coming out. So keep going round a few times more. 7 to 9 coils on the drum, and then we can put in our screw. Like so. Now if we turn the drum, you see that rope retainer in place. And I pull the drum, and now I can't pull it any further because that retainer is stopping me pulling it. And so it stops me ripping this tag straight out the drum, and there's enough coils on the drum there to start winching. Right, first of all, when putting the cable onto or the plasma onto the drum, we need to make sure it's tight and all the coils are up to one side and no gaps between, so it's nice and tight. Then what I do, I connect on the other end a quad, but if you haven't got a quad, you need a friend's Land Rover or just something on the end, just to give it a bit of weight that you're pulling in. If not, worst case scenario, if you have 2 of you, one steering the car and the other end tied to a tree, and then you pull yourself towards the tree with the person leading and guiding the rope in, because it just needs to be stretched and needs to be put on tight. Okay, with the plasma in one hand and your remote in the other, you can start to feed it in. You need to feed it in and keep the rope tight to the rope that's already on the drum, so it goes on nice and evenly. When you get to this stage, you need to hold the rope over to one side just a bit to stop the rope coming back the other way too soon. And let it in, and then we can come back. Thank you. At this point, we've got to do one of two things. We can either bring the cable right in until the hook hangs there, or my preferred method is to hook it on the recovery eye and just gently feed the cable in. It's important not to click the switch when you're on stuff like this and click, 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 because what that does is damage the solenoids in the control pack. You just need to click it once and then let the winch roll. So that's gone in nice and tight, and so we leave it like that. Pop that one out and the isolator off. Now, I've worn gloves to put this plasma in. On a new rope, it's not so important, but when ropes are used, it can pick up stones, pick up grit, so it's still always better to wear gloves. With grit and stones in the plasma, when you've been using it a while off-road, it's always best to take the plasma rope off, soak it in a bucket and soap, rinse it through, pressure wash it. Always good to get the grit out because that will induce wear and within the plasma. Also, when you're using plasma rope, very often you're winching over an incline. The rope will cut into a bank and maybe find a stone within that bank, and that's when you can damage your plasma. So anything, a winch sail put on across the bank, a piece of wood, a stick that you can find lying around, so it doesn't cut into the bank, so it doesn't find a stone to damage the plasma. Other than that, it's pretty good stuff.